Columbia, this is Houston, over. Roger, I got 80.
Discovery Show, and we're back. Sorry about the technical difficulties. I fully and wholeheartedly blame Apple, who decided to have their system run an auto update on our audio computer. So, like I said, I blame Apple, but we're back. It's all good, and we got that tub ring track. So. Like I said, nice little abstract, a little bit more challenging to the ears, not your pop sensibility stuff, but all good.
Definitely
And
not.
moving right ahead, like I said, we've been talking a lot about Breathing Light, Manika, Big Ups, and Absolutely Not. So why don't we just dive right in? We're going to listen to a couple of tracks off of Breathing Light. I wanted to definitely showcase the locals, as I want to do. So we're going to check out a new track off of their brand new album. It's called Cold Static World, and the track we're going to listen to is called Holy Ghost. And then after that, we're going to dip back into a little deep catalog Breathing Light and check out Me and Grandpa. So why don't we dive in right now?
Running a little late. This is Mild Sauce Radio.
It's kind of hot. back. Mild Sauce Live. We were just checking out a couple tracks of the Breathing Light. We heard the last track we heard was Me and Grandpa. The one before that we heard was Holy Ghost. And like I said, nice Chicago band. I've been digging years now. If you have an opportunity to chat with these guys, I mean, some of the nicest people in Chicago. So very cool guys and ladies. Definitely love them. Love their vibe. Everything about them. But like I said, they were the openers. So everything else was new to Steve, and I was coming out of that show. I was much more appreciative of it. It was very
Super
cool.
rare, by the way. New to Steve.
Yeah, and you know, I love going in blind on some shows, especially when you're like pleasantly surprised throughout the evening, right? So like, you know, Breathing Light has a more straight up punk vibe. Then we move into Manika, and again, they're a little bit into that more straight ahead punk, post punk vibe. They, like I said, are out of Brooklyn, New York. They were touring on their current record, Is You Is, and one of the tracks that we're going to be checking out in a second is called Dracula, and that is off of that album. They were another three-piece, just like Breathing Light, and like I said, it was one of these blind bands where until they plug in, you know, you have no idea what to expect, and they kind of blew me away. They were really fucking tight, really fucking just raw and good, and had a great fucking stage presence. Like I said, this is Beat Kitchen, so you know that space. It's a little bit tight, a little bit small. The show was kind of filling in as the evening was progressing. So as Manika came on stage, there still wasn't too many people around. You know what I mean? It was undersold as a whole, and by the end of the set, you know, there was a good audience there. But for Breathing Light and for Manika, it was a little sparse, a little bit disappointing. But it was disappointing in the regards.
But that's why you're here reporting on it.
They
so people
put
know.
on such a great set.
This is
know?
a Chicago band, right?
No, the first
Where are
band,
they
the previous band we listened to, Breathing Light, they're Chicago. These guys are from Brooklyn. This is
Okay.
Manika. Like I said, it was a three-piece. It's a little bit more straightforward, a little less angular, a little less spasmodic.
Spasmodic.
As the first couple tracks we were listening to at the top of the episode. But definitely very cool, very raw, very strong, powerful, you know. And why don't we just dip into it so we can stop talking and start listening. So this is going to be Manika with Dracula off of their Is You Is LP.
Let's check this one out.
Watching you
Mild Sauce Live, and that was Dracula by Monica, featuring Katy Capri, and that's off of the You Is You, or Is You Is LP. Sorry about that. And like I said, very cool, very angular, very fucking cool, especially like when you're standing there in the audience, you know, 3 dudes walk up on stage and it's like, what's this going to be? And then they fucking blow your mind. So it was very cool, very appreciative. They were very cool dudes. Had a chance to chat with them for a minute afterwards. They enjoyed the set. They were very appreciative of everybody who came out. And all in all, it was super fucking cool. Like I said, Brooklyn natives, Monica. And I had definitely attributed it to that more East Coast Discord Records style, you know, Nation of Ulysses a little bit.
Brooding.
A little bit more brooding, a little bit more introspective, but you know what I mean? Like, you know, they're not pummeling you like some like Agnostic Front New York hardcore, you know what I mean? A little bit of that post-punk vibe, a little bit of that Fugazi,
definitely.
Discord, East Coast vibe, but very fucking cool. And definitely a band that I'm going to be looking forward to checking more stuff out from. I 5 stars. You know,
One more you gotta say.
I can't say enough about it. The next band, though, this is one of those bands. Again, I believe they're on the same label, and I apologize for not having my notes updated to show what that label is. But the next band was Big Ups, also a New York band, and fuck, they were one of those bands. Like I said, Breathing Light was great, Monica was great, and then you're standing there waiting for the next band to come out, and then these dudes jump up, and this is one of those bands where I'm watching it and it's like, holy shit, these guys have a fucking potential to just blow the fuck up. They had a spastic energy on stage. The lead singer was an acrobat, jumping around, you know what I mean? Just completely into the set, completely into his performance. He was a fucking maniac on stage in the best way possible. It was really fucking cool. Blew me the fuck away. I had not seen nor heard of this band before, so I was coming in blind, and they just had an energy that none of the other bands on the lineup had, and to put an exclamation point on it, they were they had an energy and an aura.
Exploding in sound right for the?
Yeah, they were definitely.
No, I'm saying the record label. That's what I have listed here. I'm trying to find.
That does sound familiar. I was looking. Well, obviously, I picked the stuff up on Bandcamp, and Big Ups and Monica were definitely both on the same label on Bandcamp. So,
all right, if that's it, then shout out you guys.
And Sound.
That's what it says on Facebook. So.
Okay, yeah, no, shout-outs to
Facebook hasn't been a reliable news source.
Explosions and Sound. I mean, they've got a great knack for picking some
Did you also know that one of the members of that band used to be in Speedy Ortiz?
No shit.
Yeah.
Speedy Ortiz playing at, I believe, 1 p.m. tomorrow at Riot Fest, who I will be checking out. So
that might have been a reason you were fucking with Monica, because they had a little Speedy Ortiz in them.
A little bit.
Yeah. So apparently that is Devin McKnight's. He left Speedy Ortiz to focus on Monica.
Okay.
Yeah. Which, shit, if you left a band that's hitting every festival and everything all the time, they must have something going there.
They did. They absolutely did. It was. They were a treat to see, and like I said, Big Ups blew my fucking mind away. And to that point, why don't we just dip right into fucking playing some Big Ups? So we're gonna check out a track called PPP, and it's off of Two Parts Together. And this is Big Ups. And like I said, I mean, these guys, spastic energy in the best way you can imagine.
All right, let's check it out. It's Mild Sauce Radio, Steve Breit Rock Discovery Show.
All right, we're back, Mild Sauce Live. We are just checking out Big Ups with PPP off of Two Parts Together. And I hope you had an opportunity to check out that funky fucking shot that I took at that show. My phone's been acting up lately, and it's a crapshoot whether or not I get any good photography out of shows anymore until I get a new phone. But these guys were fucking acrobatic in both their music and in their performance. And they had, like I said before, they had this energy where it was just like, you know what, this is definitely not radio friendly, but
we're not on the radio
presence.
right now.
You've got a stage presence that can overcome and can really get out to the masses. So I expect to see definitely bigger things from these guys in the future. They fucking blew my mind away. And like I said, like every band coming up on stage was just like better than the one before it in the best way possible.
And this show was at Beat Kitchen, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen some fucking spectacular Beat Kitchen shows in the last year or so. And
Beat
this
Kitchen
ranks
is
up with them.
A real low key venue. You gotta really make your point to get out there.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is. I mean, like looking, I think, at the long game in the city and looking at venues, there definitely seems to be an ebb and a flow to who shows up where, right? So like I'd say like 3 years ago, Reggie's was killing it, and there was just like one fucking bomb-ass show after the next at Reggie's.
The funny thing about that is it happened on both sides. Because as I say this, I'm about to go to Reggie's a little later tonight, but
yeah, not to say that they don't put on good shows now, but I'm saying like,
well, I mean, like 3 years ago
they had a run that was consistent.
but it wasn't just rock; it was everything. Like that's when they really opened up to all sides of the city. I think they were having like they were doubling up shows. They would have a hot rock show, and then they'd end the night with a hot rap show. So it was like, or vice versa. You know what I mean? Like, and it was cool because you had those communities like interacting. Like you had, if you were at the early rap show and the rock show was coming in after, you ran into all the rock heads, you ran into all the punk kids. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people who met each other that way. So that like actually is one of those weird things that kind of happens. But yeah, no offense to Reggie's or Double Door, or not Double Door, R.I.P. Bottom Lounge. I used to get those mixed up for whatever reason. I don't know why. The names just went together, but now it doesn't matter. Bottom Lounge, though, too. I mean, I guess they got a new talent buyer. He's been going real heavy on, like, low-key rock and stuff, and, like, they kind of lost the old vibe they used to have over there a couple years ago. But it's weird how venues change that way.
Yeah, and I think, like, me not knowing it, I've always assumed it's like, oh, well, the booking agent, like, quit over there and then just got a job over there.
Right. You can definitely see it, especially in Chicago, because, like, I don't know, I'm not, I don't know, maybe I have no idea my relationship with these people, but, like, at the same time, it's like, yeah, you definitely in Chicago can tell who's where.
Yeah.
Because it definitely, like, based on your taste, the venue changes. Like Empty Bottle has been like, I think Empty Bottle right now, low key, might be the Bottom Lounge from 4 years ago.
This year, Empty Bottle has been
crazy.
Just like dropping one fucking hot show
they had
after
Joey
another.
Perp show there. They had like, they have all the rock shows there already. So like, I think that's really the best way to go about it as a venue in Chicago is like, if you already have that rock crowd, that really dedicated rock crowd, you start peppering in like a couple R&B rap shows in there and like just make it a thing where everyone's coming together.
Builds up like the universal Chicago street cred.
No, I mean, but that's what Chicago is at the end of the day, right? Like whether you're Grape Tooth Band, whether you're Grape Tooth, or whether you're Knox Fortune, or whether you're any Twin Peaks or any of these guys that are out here right now, like if you're doing music in Chicago, it's all informing one another. You know what I mean? The guys all hang out together. So whether it's rock, R&B, rap music, I think the more you can coalesce those things, that's very Chicago spirit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know,
those are my 2 cents for the day.
And you're absolutely right. I think, like I said, right now these days, Beat Kitchen is killing it. And I find, you know, you don't necessarily see it specifically when you're going into it, but if you take into context, like, oh, last year I was at Sub T a whole lot. You know what I mean? Like, and this year I've been there like once. You know, so it's like
you really
shit
don't
like
notice
that.
until you like put it into context like that too.
It's this like retrospective, like thinking back, like I was at fucking Cobra Lounge a shit ton last year, and I haven't been there at all this year.
That's a great one to bring up too, because they were doing a lot. They were like, I feel like they kind of lost that whole Union crowd. Union Park crowd, you know, like they were always the best after shows, after Pitchfork, after North Coast, stuff like that, and I haven't really been there in a few years.
You
now
know,
you're reminding me, and I'm starting to do that retrospective.
Exactly. You think about it, and you think about where you've been and where you're going to, and you know, I think specific to Cobra, like we we're just talking, you know, that's a venue I love, and I have seen amazing shows at Cobra, but. You know, if we recall, the owner passed away a year or two ago.
Oh, you're right.
And then his brother took over, and his brother was a fireman, and you know, not to fucking say shit about anybody, but like I wonder, you know what I mean, if it's a matter of somebody who's not necessarily in the scene as deep, who
puts the caps on the venues.
Mm-hmm.
Fire department. He's like, I'm not getting capacity.
Yeah, I don't know, but like, you know, the shit ebbs and flows, and right now, fucking Beat Kitchen is firing on all cylinders. So much love out there.
That's where you caught Absolutely Not, correct?
Yep. Yeah. So let's just move right on. So then this gets us back into the Chicago headliner. So it was Absolutely Not. They've been around for several years, but they were one of those bands where I've seen them on lineups and. Ships in the night, you know. I just never had an opportunity to check it out, and they blew my ass away, and they're the reason I played Tub Ring earlier in the evening, because I really felt that they had a similar enthusiastic, ecstatic, chaotic vibe that Tub Ring really encapsulated back in the day, and I think that they were definitely arbiters of that same sound in a modern sense.
All right, well, without further ado.
Yeah, let's just jump right into it. So we're going to check out a couple of tracks, like I said. Oh, and by the way, I was doing my homework, and I was trying to find out like where the locals are playing next, right? So I was looking. It appears that Absolutely Not is playing a New Year's Eve show at Lincoln Hall. So if you like what you're hearing in these next couple of tracks, definitely check them out. But Absolutely Not.
You said, so you got some time.
Yep.
Too.
Yeah, you got time to plan your shit.
The albums.
Get some fucking get some couple coins to fucking pinch together and fucking go see that show. But yeah, we're gonna check out a couple of tracks from Absolutely Not. First, we're gonna check out Strictly Top, and then we're gonna check out Programmed. And both of these tracks are off of their Errors LP.
All right, let's check it out. This is Mild Sauce Radio, and we're about to check out some Absolutely Not.
Let's do this. Kind of hot.
It's kind of hot.
Yeah.
right, and we're back. That was Absolutely Not. A couple tracks, Strictly Top and Programmed off of their Errors LP. And like I said, this was a excellent show, excellent night out, and a lot of these bands, Absolutely Not, Big Ups, Tub Ring, Blood Brothers. To me, they all come kind of out of that musical branch, you know what I mean, in the family tree of music, that all kind of spouts out. You can trace it back to Mr. Bungle. You could trace it back to Frank Zappa. You could trace it back to John Zorn with, abstract, iconoclastic jazz music.
Yeah, most definitely.
It's definitely a strain of music that
is wholly Chicago.
It's very challenging.
In the sense of just bringing it together.
It goes back decades. It's not, it's not a branch of the music tree that necessarily comes out of, your Buddy Holly verse, chorus, verse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I feel you. It's more free verse in the sense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's more experimental. It's more jazz based, and
I see where you're going with that. Okay,
it's definitely different. I will freely admit that jazz is not my my musical genre of choice. I will fuck with blues and funk way before I fuck with jazz and country. And
the fact you just put jazz and country in the same lane is highly disappointing, but I'll give it to you.
It's just not my vibe. But these are bands that bubble out beyond.
Hey man, Willie Nelson's doing a concert for Beto O'Rourke down in Texas. So
yeah, apparently some people want to vote for Willie for president, which is.
Well, he's getting my bad. I just went off on a little tangent. I was just very impressed that Willie Nelson was running with the blue.
Oh, good for him, man. He wants legal weed.
Yeah, man, Beto. Yeah, that's my bad. Little tangent, but a bunch of Willie Nelson's fans were going off about the fact that he was doing that. And to me, it was like
anti. They were against it.
Well, yeah, he's got a bunch of redneck ass. Sorry to all you rednecks. I know that also there are hillbillies, and that is a difference. I'm not lumping y'all together. My bad.
Yes, I've heard it is redneck is Texas, hillbilly is Appalachia.
I heard that hillbilly is if you're from the hills and don't work on a farm, and redneck is if you actually have a farm to work on.
Oh.
But hey, man, we're from the city. We don't know that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, if you're one of those people,
listen to us urban crackers pontificate.
This is why Trump is president. But no, I mean, what was I saying? No, Willie Nelson is headlining a show for Beto O'Rourke, and there were all these fans that were like tweeting stuff, and they were like, of course Fox News covered this, and they were like, oh yeah, like Willie Nelson fans are revolting, and they were like, I can't believe you do this, Willie. It's like, yo, bro, like guy's been smoking all the pot for the last 60 years.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think? You think he's going to vote for a Republican who's going to tell him he can't smoke weed? Like, get the fuck out of here.
That cracks me up. That's like the
My bad. The elections are coming up. We're getting a little political on the Steve Breit Show.
That cracks me up and reminds me similarly of when Rob Halford, the lead singer of Judas Priest, came out as gay. There was all these meathead metal fans that were like flabbergasted, and his response was, I've been walking around in silly leather cop hats and chaps for years, and you never figured it out.
Right, yeah.
I feel like Willie's the same way. He's like, I've been a pot-smoking hippie for fucking decades.
And, thank you for the money, but shout out Nike on that, too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we can get off that. My bad.
Yeah, no, but... No, it's loving that experimental stuff, the stuff that you're not, finding every day. It's a little bit,
That's
off
why we're
the
discovering
beaten
music
trail.
with Steve Breit.
Yeah, we're always discovering. We're always finding new shit, right?
We're gonna change the name. It's now Steve Breit's Rock Discovery, not Steve Breit's Rock Discovery Show. It's just we're gonna turn into a cartoon. It's gonna be Steve like in a RuneScape type situation, just discovering new rock music.
Yeah, it's a journey, and we're all along for the ride. But no, I think this gets us to the end of the episode. And again, sorry for the technical delays earlier.
It wasn't our fault. It often is our fault.
Apple wholeheartedly.
Today was not our fault. That was shitty, and we apologize. But you can skip back and forth on the playlist to catch the whole episode.
Yeah, and anybody who obviously you missed it, but behind the scenes, we spent a good long time like setting levels and getting everything all set.
Yeah, this is like This is one of the more perfected episodes we had, and then the computer said,
and then it all blew up.
Fuck you.
Best laid plans of mice and men.
But we're back. We're always back.
Mm-hmm. But no, so let's wrap this stuff up. Shout outs as always to everybody at Mild Sauce, Jake for making this happen, 3-Piece, DJ Police stayed, everybody who.
They'll be back on Saturday, and then we'll be at a spades brunch on Sunday if you want to learn how to play spades.
That'll be definitely interesting. And had I not had other plans, I would definitely love to check that out.
Yeah, man. Mild Sauce Radio gets all over the city. In the last month, we've been out to the Bud Billiken, down to the West Inglewood for the bait truck, out to the west side last weekend for AMFM's Feast at Douglas Park.
Yeah, that Douglas Park stuff was great. If anybody has a chance to check that out, you will definitely dig that.
Yeah,
that was
very cool stuff.
If you guys
want to relive, also support Sierra McKissick. She just lost her space down in Pilsen over here, just a few blocks over from where we're at right now. But she's got a fundraiser going to get that space back. She also just put on this festival. So we're just out here trying to support the like-minded individuals here in the city doing great things for independent artists and people in the city. And, shout out Sierra. It was a great event, and she's constantly persevering as we have been tonight. As well, if I get one more plug real quick, my man Ice Face, if y'all know Ice Face, he is a Chicago legend. The man has gotten caught up. And if you guys go on to GoFundMe, if you go on my Twitter, Jake Krez, if you go on Vic Mensa's Instagram or Twitter, you'll see the GoFundMe account. The Chicago police are treating him the way they treat people, and so we're just trying to get him out and get him free. If you guys have a chance to throw a few bucks at him, it'd be much appreciated. There's also a benefit concert going on tonight, and we'll try to get you the info on that on our Twitter as well. But, a lot of things going on in the city. We got to support our own.
Yeah, shout out to Iceface. Good luck with him. And like Jake was saying, if you got a few extra bucks to throw his way, help him out, that would be greatly appreciated. And then I got one last shout out. So this afternoon, Jake and I had an opportunity to spend a little bit of time with Alex and Francis White of White Mystery. And, you gotta fucking love this. This is their new record. Check out their new record. I did a review of it on the Mild Sauce website just recently.
The debut of Steve Breit writing.
Yeah, man. What fucking great vinyl.
And the crazy thing you guys don't know is that they actually also did that's like their secondary vinyl. The first run of it actually had like hair inside. They found a way to encapsulate stuff into the vinyl. They had hair and sand and stuff that would float through the vinyl.
Yeah, they had crazy limited edition vinyl.
Yeah. Shout out them, man. They DIY all the way to the core. Some Chicago DIY founders.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, much love to Alex and Francis White. This is their 10-year anniversary this year.
That's
they
right.
recently celebrated 1,000 live shows.
And they can both finally get a significant other now.
Yep. It's mission accomplished for them. So definitely wanted to give out the shouts to them. Very cool. But yeah, let's wrap this up. Next week we're going to be dipping into a bit of a Riot Fest post-mortem recap. But right now we're going to go out.
Special guest Raj. I'm calling it out now. Raj is going to be here.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get a bunch of beer and get shit faced and have some fun.
It's gonna be a fun
if
episode.
Everything works out as planned next week. So let's wrap this up, and we're gonna head out lastly on, as always, another Chicago band. So we're going to check out Haymarket Riot with Grand Canyon off the I Know What You Did EP.
Let's do it, man. This has been the Steve Breit Rock Discovery Show. I'm Jake Krez. He's Steve Breit, and this is Mild Sauce Radio.
It's kind of hot. See you next week.